So let's consider again the calculator project that we created before. This has been created as a Java project, but we now want to create a Maven project instead. In Eclipse there's the option to convert a Java project into a Maven project, but for this video tutorial we will create a new project instead. So we right click on the package explorer, we select new and other, and we scroll down until Maven project is selected. Then on the next page of this wizard we ask Eclipse to create a simple project, and now we have to enter the details for the artifact. In particular we enter the group ID, let's say for example dk.dtu, and as artifact ID we select for example calculator Maven, and we click on finish, and now we have our Maven project created with the default directories in there. Now we can copy the source files from the old project to the new one. So we can right click, select copy, then we can paste that into the source main Java folder. We do that for calculator and for calculator.operations package as well. Okay, so now in our new project we have all the Java sources that we need. The default configuration of the Eclipse Maven plugin provides as configuration the usage of Java 1.5, as you can read in this in the system library configuration. In order to fix this problem at the Maven level, we need to first of all check whether we have an updated version of the Java Development Kit, or JDK, associated in our Eclipse. To do that we have to go to Window, Preferences, and then we have to scroll down to Java, and we need to check the installed JREs. And now you see that I have, for example in this case, I have JDK 1.8 available. If you don't, but if you have just the JRE, so just the runtime environment, you should click on Add and proceed with the wizard in order to have the JDK. I suggest also to select the JDK as the default one. If you now expand this configuration item here and you go to execution environment, when you select Java SE 1.8, you should configure as environment the development kit. So you should tick this box instead of the runtime environment. Once this is done, you can apply and close. Now that we are sure that our Eclipse installation has the Java 1.8 available, we need to configure our Maven project to use this environment. So we have to open the POM file, and in particular we have to go to the pom.xml, and here we have the configuration for the project that we are currently working on. Now we have to overwrite the default configuration with our new configuration, and to do that we need to specify that we're talking about the build configuration, and within the build we're talking about a specific plugin. So we have to specify that within all the plugins available we're talking about one plugin which has group ID org.apache.maven.plugins, and the artifact ID is Maven compiler plugin. And in my case, I'm talking about version 3.1 of such plugin. I know that because if you go to the effective POM, which is the POM with all information explicited, and you scroll down until the compiler plugin, you see that the compiler plugin that I have is 3.1. So this is what we are talking about. This plugin is the plugin in charge of the compilation and the Java compilation of the Maven package. So we now want to specify our customized configuration for the Java version. So we need to specify within the configuration tag that the source file that we the source that we are providing and the target platform we want to compile against is Java 1.8. That's because in my case I have Java 1.8. If you have Java 9, then you should specify 9. Now it's possible to save, and now you see that there is this error indicated here, and that's because we changed the underlying configuration of the POM of the Maven project, so we need to refresh the Maven part. So we right click on the project, we select Maven, and we click on Update Project. Okay, so now the error is gone, and here you should see that the library that the project is now configured to use is Java SE 1.8. And actually, if we expand that and we check the different jar files used, you see that it is indeed using the JDK version of that. With the proper configuration of Java, we can try to compile our project using Maven. To do that, we have to right click on the project and then select Run As Maven Build with the 3 dots. In this window, we can specify which goals, we can specify the list of goals that we want to execute. So in this case, we want to first clean the project, and then we want to compile. Then we can also assign a proper name for the for this launch configuration, and we can call it compile. We apply and we run this configuration. Now this is the output of the compilation, and you see that it first ran the clean plugin, which cleaned out the previous compilation, if any was available, and then the resources. In this case, we had no resources available, but the resources would have been generated, and then the compiler was executed, so it recompiled the module, and the 5 files were indeed compiled. Now every time we have some new change and we want to update our compiled version, we can just click next to the play button here, and we should have the calculator Maven compile available. So we click it, and we can immediately execute the proper Maven goal. Now that we have our Maven configuration, which allows us to properly compile our code, we want to build a self-contained executable jar. To do that, there is a Maven plugin available, and we need to specify on the POM file that we want to use it. So we need to add this new plugin by entering its artifact ID, which is Maven assembly plugin. Additionally, we have to provide some configuration for this plugin, and in particular we have to specify which is the class with the main method that we want to use, and this is to avoid ambiguities in case several classes with main methods are available. And then we have to provide the information that this jar should contain all the dependencies that are that we include with Maven. So to specify the class with the main method that we want to launch, we have to use we have to specify in the archive, so in the jar file that we're going to create, the manifest, and in particular the main class, which should be calculator.calculator. This calculator, this first term here, refers to the name of the package. The second instance of this calculator with capital C actually refers to the name of the class. So this is the full name of the class. For the second configuration, we have to specify this outside of the archive in the descriptor refs, and in particular we have to provide one special descriptor ref, which is jar with dependencies. So this is going to generate this is going to include all the dependencies needed into the jar file. We save, and now we want to trigger Maven with the proper goal in order to generate the self-contained jar. So let's right click here, run as Maven build with the 3 dots, and here we need to specify the goals. So we want to first clean our compiled version, then we want to compile, and then we want to go for this goal of the self-contained, and we do that by writing assembly single, and we should give this launch configuration a name, something like executable jar. We apply and we run. Now, as you see, Maven first cleaned the previous compiled version of the project, then the compilation successfully finished, and then the assembly plugin triggered, and it successfully compiled with everything in there. Now, if we refresh the project folder with by right-clicking and selecting refresh, and we expand the target, you see that now you have this jar file in there. So if you open the terminal and you navigate to this target folder here, you navigate there, then if you list the file you should see it again, which is here. And as we discussed on the first lecture, to run this jar file you can just type java -jar and then the full name of the jar file. In this case, calculator, Maven, etc. You click and then you have exactly the same behavior as you would have in Eclipse. For example, first number 5 times 3, which returns 15. This is useful when you have to create projects that you want to run outside Eclipse. The Maven plugin we saw now are just a couple of all of those that are available. You can check the website to see all the different capabilities that you have when using Maven. But before that, I would like to show you one additional feature, which is the site goal. This allows you to automatically generate a website for your application. To do that, you can right-click on the project, select Run As, Maven with the 3 dots, and then as goal you can specify site, and again you can assign a name to this launcher, let's say site. Then you can apply and run. This would generate information referring to your to the project that you are currently working on, and at the moment I didn't provide any information, so that's why all of these warnings are actually raised. But if you refresh again the target folder here, you see that now there is a site folder which contains indeed all the HTML pages referring to your project. So if we open the index.html in a browser, this is what you have. Actually, I didn't provide any information, so the information showed is very brief and not useful maybe. But if we go back to our project and we go to the POM, we can actually use the overview editor of POM for providing the very basic information, like the name of the project, let's say calculator, and as description we can provide some description like simple calculator. Then if we save, we can re-execute the site call by clicking on the arrow down here and selecting this run configuration site. And now Maven is rebuilding the website with the new details that we provided in the overview of the POM. So if we now open again the page and we refresh, you see that now the name is properly set and the description is also properly set. Of course, you can check the Maven website to see all the different configurations that you can provide for the website of your application.